If you haven't already, leave a comment and subscribe. If you would like to contribute to the channel, use the Cash App located in the upper right corner of the video. But let's get right to it, man. Because we have to talk about how T-Pain called out Drake, and Drake responded. It appears that T-Pain had chosen to do an interview not too long ago, and he talked about Drake. Now, there is a clip of it that has been making the rounds online where Tay says that Drake should have bowed out. Tay has been speaking out about Drake's movements for a while. So you know what I mean? But let's play the clip now and see what he says specifically.
The one thing I learned from Drake, and here's the crazy thing, one thing I learned from Drake, but one thing he hasn't followed his own words. Drake said, I want to be one of the people that gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. I have ever since said, you really thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all when I drop. Don't worry about it. I'll just drop something. Let me know if you heard it. Drake is like, no, listen. Okay, I got another one. Oh, check this out. Check this out. Y'all didn't like that one? Okay, real quick. Just one more. Let me try one more. And then he's the person that he said, he didn't want to be. And I learned that from him. Like when he said that, I want to gracefully bow out and not get kicked out. I was like, you know what? I'm out this bitch.
This is just live shows now.
I'm out this motherfucker. I'm not trying to impress y'all niggas. Y'all niggas don't give a fuck about live or die. Why the fuck would I keep trying to impress y'all niggas? I'm out. I'm done. I did everything that I was trying to do. I changed the game. I made a sound. What else? What else?
You literally can't. It's only even if you make a hit today, it's still,
it won't even. That's just normal.
Yes,
it's just normal. It's like, yeah.
According to the context of what Tay is stating, Drake had previously stated that he was preparing. This was reported on February 28, 2023, which, if I'm not mistaken, is about the time he was going to go on the It's All a Blur tour. It reads, I'm ready now. Drake plans a graceful exit. Drake wants to leave the music industry gracefully to make room for the next generation of rappers. The God's Plan rapper hitmaker has stated that he has no plans to retire anytime soon, but when the time comes, he wants to mentor up-and-coming artists. On a larger scale, though, I believe he was saying to Lil Yachty in his Moody's Conversations episode on YouTube, I feel like a lot of people that I've watched as the years have gone on find it really addictive in a competitive space. Oftentimes you're addicted to the competition itself. I'm not ready now. But to gracefully continue making projects that are incredibly interesting and hopefully cherished by people. And then to find the right time to say, I can't wait to see what the next generation does. Reassuring fans that he has no plans to hang up his microphone anytime soon. He said, I'm still working around to work with people or do a show here or there. But I'm not going to force myself to compete. It's interesting that he said this around 2023. And the following year, he gets into a beef with Kendrick Lamar. It's amazing how the story changed. And he was already considering a graceful exit, but he gets into a beef immediately after saying that in a public statement, I would love to see just what the next generation does whenever that time is. So I guess that's the one thing that I want for myself really badly, but I'm gonna have to say that's kind of cap, because if you did, would have already stopped or been trying to work on your graceful exit instead of getting involved in one of these beefs, because remember in the beef, he's the one that antagonized Kendrick Lamar. So when he's in this interview saying that he's planning a graceful exit, he doesn't want to continue to be competitive. You were the one that was provoking Kendrick Lamar in the first place, so it's the exact opposite effect of what you're saying in this interview. And this is where T-Pain gets this context from. This is what he's talking about. Drake had talked about this a while back with Yachty, and what Tay is basically saying, he's saying that there was never no graceful exit. He just kept going even after the beef, and without even bringing up the beef. I think we all know that this is something that he just did. He just kept going, and he just kept making it worse. At any point in time, he could have made the graceful exit, right? That we're talking about? If he really cared about the artists from the next generation, he would have just been working with them, helping them instead of trying to do these tours that he's canceling or trying to drop album after album. He would have been working on a graceful exit, instead of trying to drop an album one after the other. Realistically, the real problem with Drake taking a graceful exit now is that he got involved in a lawsuit. He went and told in a courtroom about losing in a rap battle. and that goes against everything in hip-hop. Bro, you don't get into a rap battle and go to the court and sue right after just because you lost. A lot of people said that after Drake lost, if he just cooled down, if he just got away for a while, went away for a while and came back, it would have probably been different. He would have been roasted because he kept enabling these things. By continuing to make it worse for himself, you go and sue immediately after a rap battle. You keep lying and saying false things. You keep trying to twist the facts, and now you're contesting the First Amendment in a lawsuit against the label. You work for Dot. Drake makes it worse for himself by continuing to do things that allow people to talk about this loss because he never stops. He keeps going, and that's specifically because of the lawsuit and the things that he does. This is just another example of how Drake can't just accept a loss. He must rebuttal, he must reply, and he must do something to let people know that he's not bothered when, in fact, he is bothered. He's trying to act like nothing is fazing him, but here in the comments of an Instagram post, this guy always resented me. You can hear it every time that he speaks on my name. This is after he talks about the gracefully bowing out situation he has given his critiques on Drake and his music and the way that he's handling things now, but who wouldn't say anything, bro? I mean, realistically, everybody's talking about how you went and sued right after a lawsuit now. Drake is going to try to act like T-Pain has been critical of him this whole time. Drake is running with these narratives. You know, they're saying that. T-Pain always hated Scorpion. This is coming out of context, though, because in this interview, he talks to Joe Biden and says that he couldn't listen to the Scorpion album because it was too romantic to listen to with another man. That's what he was saying, so that's out of context. And then T-Pain's S for You were throwaway songs. This is when Triple S for You had came out with Party Next Door. Honestly, this is just a critical take, though. They're just talking about music. It's not talking about him as a person. But these are the narratives they're saying. They're saying that T-Pain has always resented Drake. I may be real, though. If T-Pain does resent Drake, right? If he doesn't like Drake, maybe he has his reasons. Maybe it could be because they try to steal some sounds from him. They tried to steal a couple of songs from him. It says here that T-Pain talks about Drake and his artist Gordo, also known as Carnage, drawing inspiration, but academics, out of his own mouth, call it theft. Check it out.
Yo, Pain.
Look.
When I said it to him, he gonna do it, bro.
That's fantastic. I'm talking about Gordo, a nigga that was on the plane with him. Showed him the song. I mean, they got inspiration from the song and did another song, which is cool. I'm totally fine with that. But
they stole your shit. Oh, hell no.
Huh?
They stole your shit.
they didn't steal nothing.
There you go. There you know how to do it, don't you? You know how to do it, don't you?
You just said you heard some shit that sounded like your shit, but it wasn't your shit.
Yeah, I mean,
That's called theft.
That happened every day in the game.
You only as good as the shit. You only as good as shit you get inspiration from.
That's a fact. Nah, but I ain't gonna lie.
And that's everybody. Hey, look. If it's anything I've learned in this industry, it ain't nothing new under the sun. Everybody's doing something that somebody done did before. It ain't never gonna be different.
So you see here, Drake's
Thus, you can see here, academics, Drake's biggest admirer, was attempting to start a debate by stating, well, hold on, you're saying that's inspiration. But that sounds like death. Hey, it's nothing new. Everybody's done something once before it's been done again. Do you know what happens? T-Pain says as he bows out of the scenario, which makes it amusing. However, academics are calling it what it is, and even at this point, T-Pain is not displaying any resentment. So when Drake claims that T-Pain has resentment for him every time he speaks, even when he was speaking to academics, he chooses to bow out and not sound resentful at all. I believe that the entire bout conversation, where he shamefully leaves the situation instead of being kicked out, is related to Drake suing UMG. It all has to do with him and that circumstance. And after that, he is unquestionably going outside. If hip-hop culture and the First Amendment, you should have gracefully bowed out instead of being kicked out. You talked about bowing out 2 years ago, and you're still doing this? Obviously, the battle kind of held you up, but even in your previous statements, you stated that you weren't going to compete. So what do? you provoke. Freedom of speech and everything that hip-hop stands for. And that's why he references it the way that he does. Kendrick Lamar is bowing out, being laid back, and being neutral. You never did any of those things, and when someone calls you out on it, you get offended, and you say that they're resenting you. However, even when they're talking to your biggest fan and he's using you as a prop to treat you disrespectfully, and he denies it, that doesn't sound like resentment at all. I believe T-Pain is only bringing up this topic because he is sort of leaving as well. 3 weeks ago, he posted on Instagram saying, "I give you all everything for 20 years. And I'm grateful to each of you for making such a great ride right now. I just need some time to think about what's next and what's best for me." This was posted 3 weeks ago, making everybody think that he was going to retire. It was to be revealed that Tay was going to be on a tour and he was going to start what seems to be his probably last tour if he's sending this message right before it. It says that Tay announced tour after fueling retirement rumors. So this might be his last tour before he gracefully exits out of doing any more shows. Who knows, but maybe. This is why he's talking about Drake's graceful exit, because he's working on doing one of his tours, or maybe, potentially, one of his last tours. But without a doubt, I respect T-Pain. I know that he's probably been critical of Drake, but he's never talked with any type of resentment for him. I think everything has been pretty light, and he's only talking about what Drake had said publicly, and to be honest, he should have gracefully bowed out back in 2023 and not been in competition, like he said he was before he started to provoke Kendrick Lamar and before he tried to sue. Okay? Now he can't gracefully bow out, and now he is getting kicked out because people don't recognize him as being part of the culture. Which is why Kendrick Lamar said that he's not like us. That was the whole point of the reference of that, and he proved it right. After when he decided to take the actions that he took with the lawsuit and everything else that falls behind that, not even talking about what's said in the lyrics, just the actions that he's took after the fact, I think. T-Pain is a legend. I love all of T-Pain's music. Big shout out to T-Pain. I feel like he was just giving his opinion here. He was just being critical. I mean, Drake might add him to the lawsuit at this point, bro, but who knows, man? Y'all tell me how you feel about this and get back to me, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it alleged.